Hi everyone, it's Veronica Bartolini with Codebreaker Real Talk, and today we have Christy Campbell and my co-host Chad Cooper. Yay! And we're going to talk part two. Today we'll start a little bit about these programs. I've already spoken about the programs that I've been in on my playlist Unchained Hearts. Also, Misha Johnston recorded, I think we did 4 shows together. And but anyway, I have some memories that are always there. When I was a child in a crib, and it was a house where they had different rooms, and my room had the white walls, and I had a white crib, and I had like a little umbrella mobile, you know, those little mobiles. And I know that they paired me up with, I do remember a baby wolf, but it was like gray with black streaks, real pretty. And then I didn't like the horny toad. That's like the chameleon that changes colors and they have the eyes and all that. And Chad was telling me that I guess they spit out blood and then they lose their eyes, but then they grow the eyes back, you know. So I was like, okay, so I do have that memory, and I have many memories of being, you know, in facilities, Circus. I titled it Circus because it is tied to Las Vegas Circus. And I do have a memory that I'm in a old school station wagon, you know, the brown ones, and at a gas station. There's another female with me, and they're not my parents. They just dropped us off there, and I went into this hallway. It was a house right next door to this gas station connected to the Circus. And all the all the walls there were blue. And first thing I see is a slab. It's stainless steel slab, and they put someone on there, and they're doing atrocious things on there. There's blood everywhere. I don't really want to get into it. There's clowns that come at me with masks and knife, and I'm running, and I take the little girl with me, and I'm running down the hallway, and that's when I wake up. That's a reoccurring memory. Another one is where Hillary Clinton is in. A lot of memories I have is in Mexico, my grandma's house, and Hillary Clinton is there with 2 men in black, we call them, and she was examining me, and I don't know why she was doing that, but I woke up crying. I was maybe about 15, 16 years old. There's another one where there's a justice of the peace here in Tucson, Arizona, but it's like a dome, and it's like a pink dome, what we call the pink building. And that's where people, you know, go get married or get things like their tax records for their homes. So on one of them, there's a female, a doctor. Well, she's dressing up like a doctor. And she has like a white cover on her head, and she's examining me again. There's another guy there with her, and I'm like in a net. It's like a little light blue net. And I try and get away, and when I run, I go outside, and it's the balcony there, and then a man is there with me, like saying, no, you can't leave. I tried to escape from there. I couldn't escape from there. There's a bunch of stairs everywhere. It kind of looks like a mansion. The other one that's connected to Montauk also, there's so many. I'm church, you know, I'm going up a very steep hill, and I walk in, and there's a red carpet. Okay, and then I have to sit in the front. There's a bunch of kids with me. I'm like maybe 19, 20, and the priest in front of me asks me to go to the altar, and I'm being used for exorcisms, and as well as I have another memory with JP. I won't mention his name, and I've taught, you know, when we were together, we had so many memories together, and this one we're it's like kind of like a sacrifice satanic ritual where I'm on top of the altar, and they're having us drink blood and doing sexual things that I don't want to talk about. There's another memory where I'm in a psych ward, and it has blue walls, and I'm tied up like with the white, you know, stuff on me. What do they call that? The jacket. And I'm just hitting my head like, how am I going to get the F out of here? How am I going to escape this time? And somehow the next scene is I'm running out the window. There's no window there, but I have to, you know, there's no doors, there's no windows, but I somehow make a window or a door, and I open it, and I run away, and I just keep running. I'm like, this time they're not going to get me. Then that's when I'm like a kid, you know, most of the time we didn't have any clothes on. then later I'm like maybe 18, 20 again, and I'm in the facility that I was telling you about, that it's at nighttime, it's very hot, I don't know where it is, it's very muggy, it could be Florida, Texas, I don't know, because I was, you know, in the military, and I have been to Fort Huachuca and things like that. So it was a two-story building, white, and then inside is like a medical facility and science facility as well, and it's dark, and it has the chain link fence around it. Somehow I escaped. I don't know if I put like what I did with my hands, or there was a man that I was like, I convinced for him to let me go. I don't know what I told him, but I'm outside, and my friend comes with my Harley Davidson. He has a Harley, and then we ride away, and I just, you know, there's many things like that. There's also like a mansion where I am with this lady. We're in a lab, and I'm a kid. I'm maybe 12 years old, and I tell her, hey, this little girl is trying to give me a lipstick, and the lipstick is actually a vial of blood. And we're not supposed to be handling blood at that age, even though they give it to us to either, you know, intravenously, or they make us drink along with the black goo and things like that. So the little girl gets in trouble, and then I'm outside with a white woman, very tall. We're on the swings. And when I went to California, I told Chad about this. When I went to Fresno, this lady had invited me to go for a week to go to Yosemite and everything. I saw 2 blocks down from her house, there was a place that had the Monarch. It was Monarch Real Estate. And I'm, holy F, that house looked like the same house or castle, kind of, because there was like, oh my gosh, like hills, rolling hills, and at the same time, the house is there, like on the, like at the bottom, there's a hill, and then around there's a bunch of grass, like a lot of greenery. And that house looked just exactly it. I told the girl that invited me over there, the lady, I'm like, do you know this is related to the Monarch program too? And she's like, oh my gosh, are you sure? And then she wouldn't let me use my phone. Husband was ex-CIA, former CIA, and he had 9 patents that he had given to, you know, had come up with. He was retired, and she worked for NASA. She was a photographer. Her name is Alil Keaton, if you want to, she's on Facebook. So anyway, they wouldn't let me use my phone when we would go eat on the table. I was always like in my room. I was only allowed to go out certain times, and for a whole week, she said I was her birthday present. I'm like, what the hell? This happened like in 2021, and when I was done with the conference in March, I believe it was somewhere around May. So a lot of things have happened to me. Like I've had 29 surgeries, and I'm gonna have more, and it's like titanium in my back. Everything that when I fought in Mars, that bled through, you know, my legs blown up, my arm, half my face. So I've had many surgeries here. And just, it's nonstop. But last night I couldn't sleep again. They keep targeting me. I can feel the drones. They target me with either shoulder pain, knee pain. They do the whole, you know, what they call the hot flashes, you know, as soon as I am ready to go to sleep. And when I close my eyes, they come at me. They come at me, like either a man will come, or a few men, or a woman will say, come over here, or we'll be at the beach, and then there's people saying, come over here with me, and or they're examining me. I'm in a medical place, and it's like it's just bombardment after bombardment, and I have not slept for more than 24 hours, and it's been hell. It's been a hell of a ride to be in these programs, you know, and I don't recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, I know.
You're call yourself lucky, but at the same time, you know, the government also experiments on everybody, especially when they're going to dream form, right, Chad? Like you have family members too that, you know, tell you about their situations. So
So is this considered like a my lab, or is this just all Montauk that you're
some of it is Montauk, some of it is My Lab, and some of it is Monarch. Also the Sex Kitten program. I'm also called Mistress V because not only did they use me in the Sex Kitten CIA program to be a handler for military and police here, but also in the programs. And I do remember being on the wheel. You know, I remember having a whip. You know, I don't like to talk about these things because they're very gross, and So they taught me how to steal information with in the military program called Stargate. I was Bravo 80 or 82, and I was in the 750 battalion here in Tucson for the U.S. Army Reserves, and that was a cover as well as when I was an officer here for City of South Tucson. It's a whole it's a whole different city. And that's the most dangerous place you can work. You can only lateral over. They don't pay for, you know, they don't pay for anything. They just give you your uniform. So these programs were used as a cover. Okay. And I was given the anthrax shot with the quaalude, shark quaalude. You know, I feel with all my belief that I was also given the black goo, gray goo, sorry, it's called Agent Orange because the oncologist said it looks like capital FISH. It looks like that goo that they gave in Vietnam, he says. It's called Agent Orange. And I said, well, I'm pretty sure they gave it to me in shot form, you know, because a lot of us that got that shot in 91 throughout, they were still giving it in 98, got their backs messed up, you know, their bones, I was going somewhere with this. So a lot of the, when I would be being bused to Phoenix, and I was also at the VA here working, I also, like I said, went to Fort Huachuca. So it's like a lot of those are bleed throughs. Like sometimes I'm like, is this real or is this a dream? So with Project Stargate, you can go through the wormholes and get things. Now, going real quick before I forget, when I was a year and a half, I was taken to and placed in a little pod, and that was for the Stargate. Well, I call it Crystal Gates, but I think it's called a Dolphin program. And they were giving me the shots then. And the plasmoid, I don't know. I have a video here on Codebreaker Real Talk called ACIO, you know, my memories. They were, Peter the Insider also said that there was two German brothers that had escaped the Soviet Union. I don't know if they're Russian or German, but they ended up in Mexico. And I was born in Mexico, but I'm not Mexican. I was just born in Mexico, and the year after we were in, you know, we lived in Arizona, but I wasn't born in a hospital. I was born in some clinic, and I know that I was taken out, I was breached. So then they did a C-section on my mom, and they used the forceps, and I have a scar here on this side still to this day. And I know that I was switched. That lady is, I don't think she's my mother. She's a reptilian Draco. My father's more of the angelic Hulk. That's where I get the, because he's Nephilim. I come from the Nephilim bloodline. And I've also had memories of the Nephilims when they had, you know, they had children. We'll just say they had a breed from the Nephilim with angels. Okay, so these are called, they call them raven mockers, but they're the bronze ones with the beak. They have bronze chest plates and all that. And then they also hang out with the little tiny, they're like grays, but they're white and complected, and they're like cherubs. They have the king, like the King Arthur kind of like crown. And I had them in the astral. I've battled with them before. It was one flashback where my daughter was in front of the mirror just going like this, and then behind her there was another one of her going like this, rocking herself, and then there's a huge mirror, like those old-fashioned Victorian mirrors. And so what I did is I grabbed her and I threw the mirror on top. I threw it up and it just went whirling, and then it went like to a portal, like it just disappeared. And at the same time, these beings came from an alien ship that is like circular, and it's hollow in the middle, and it has a bunch of metallic things on them, like nails, metals, you name it. It's just like that. That's how it was in my flashback. And they came down, like I said, it was like the raven, like the bird, the crows, and the angelic cherubs. And the angelic cherubs had arrows, and the raven mockers, the birds, they had a nail that was like a boomerang. It was a huge nail, like hammer and nail. And they threw it at me, and somehow I escaped with my daughter outside, and then they disappeared. But then the tall queen came, and we were all in a line. My daughter, I took her to safety. It was me and another guy. She was like a tall queen. She had a crown on her, very white complected, like reddish hair, blue eyes. And she gave me, she said, drink this. And she poured a cup of, she gave me a cup and the man a cup, and we had to pour it in a basin, and it turned black, gray. I'm like, I ain't drinking that, I'm not drinking that
Yeah.
crap. And she says, you have to, or else something's gonna happen to your daughter. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I drink it. And then later on, she turns around and she comes up with, just pretend this is, so it's like a big old candle, red candle, and it's lit. She lights it, and on the bottom it's like gold. And then she's like, here, you need to do this ritual. And I said, no, I'm not gonna do anything else. And I broke it off, and it melted in my hands, and I wake up. So I have had to cut many contracts. I don't want to be used anymore for these programs. I'm clearing the program. I'm not coming back. I don't, the Hindu gods, you want to call them, or demiurges, they're here, and they're the ones that I saw in my near-death experience. They're the ones that said, you have to reincarnate. They were fighting for my soul, and I'm like, no. And somehow, I don't know if I chopped them up or what, but they were, on the side there on the floor, and I got up, when the incident happened, we'll just call it that, when I died for 3 days. I was in my hospital gown, and I was looking at them, and they were just like looking at me like that. They had yellow eyes, black jagged haircut, purple gray, cut in half. And I was like trying to not trample over them. So I was walking over them. And then that's where I saw the light. I opened the door, and there was my father on the corner. He took his life, like I said, when I was 13. And I said, I'm not coming back to Earth. I don't want to come back. I don't want to come back. So I was holding on to him, crying. I'm like, no quiero volver. I don't want to come back to Earth. He says, you have to go back. You still have your children, and you're not done there. So to this day, I know it wasn't him. I know it's these programs. For a long time, for years, since 2010, I thought it was my dad. But now, knowing that these are tricksters in the astral to get you to come back, I don't want to come back. I don't even want to go there. Like, I just want to go home. And if Andromeda's not there, then I'll go make another place of my own.
Yeah.
But that's a lot. You can ask me anything.
Yeah, what about Chad? Do you have like memories of being at Montauk?
I have a few memories, but not at Montauk. And so, and I'm West Coast, everything that I've done. The only thing with Montauk that I can say is I think there's a connection there, but my last lifetime. And it's one that I don't remember, because in the last lifetime I remember, I was Black. And that was back at 1800s to about the 1900s to about the 1940s, and then, or 1930s. And then I think I was born again, maybe went to the Vietnam War. But I think that was the Montauk experience, because I keep seeing New York, and I had this experience of being stabbed there. That was a reoccurring dream, and I was an adult and stuff. And so, and then going back in a regression, I kept seeing the Black life and then the New York life, like superimposed over each other. So I'm assuming there's a life in between that I don't remember. That might have been a connection to Montauk. All my, that's why I'm curious. I know there's Montauk, but I'm not sure what exactly. It's just a base, right? And then there's the projects, because I've been moved around, and everywhere I moved, I've heard like JP or whoever say, it was mostly religious schools that were attacked, because they're easier to control and manipulate. But I was accessed through the elementary schools, through the public schools, and I got moved around. I went to a small one up in the mountains where I live now, and then in Oregon, there was a school that I went to, and then in Anchorage, there was a school that I went to, and I've seen those altars, and I've seen they twin flamed me in those times too, to certain girls. So I've seen my altars with them still, but not Montauk directly. And if I do, I don't have the memories.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to like pinpoint them, because there's so like little puzzle pieces too. They're little bitty, so you don't know if it's the military, my lab, alien abduction, because they can kind of mask it off too. So you just kind of, so a lot of them, I don't know. I just think of like a prison is what I was kind of seeing this with, like, because do you remember us kept in jail cells, Veronica?
Yes,
like
and that's
Joseph?
yes, ma'am. And that's when they did the wolf program on me. So I have part wolf, part lichen. Okay, so it's lichen, vampire. I tried so many times to sleep when is at night, you know, come up with the sun, go to sleep when the sun goes down, and I just can't. I just cannot. I tried many years, and I've been like this since I was a kid, 3 years old. So yeah, a lot. Oh gosh. And then in Mars, we did an invasion there. But I've already talked about it because there's like people in cages and animals, and that was my altar there is So L in Mars, and that's with the 33 with Max Spiers and myself were there. Jemin Vasquez, Daryl Neely, Susan Long. I don't know who else was there, but we wore the black suits there, and we had to fight with the raptoids. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
raptoids.
So is
Mhm.
my connection okay? Does it fade out or anything?
Yeah, it's
Is it
better.
okay? Okay. So like my memory recall is of seeing you at Montauk. This I had this the other day. I'm doing this again with my throat, just now talking. I do it every time too. I put on turquoise here. So I seen that you was like a drill sergeant, and then this is when you was like you look like you're around 15 or so, and you have like a baton thing, like this, and you're just like walking back and forth, and you I think you're even in like a green um military looking, like a t-shirt and the camo pants or something and combat boots or something
No,
with your
you're
hair.
right. You're right because Peter the Insider said that I graduated at age 15, and I was like the fastest one to. And I was born in 71, and I was labeled as special soldier for the
Mm-hmm.
government. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And you would just like look in the window there and see, like there's a little window there, and you would just scan the room and then keep walking. But you're kind of assigned to harass in a way to keep us up, like our emotions up. So the other guys, they would bring in like a teddy bear or a toy or something like we could hang on to, is what I was seeing, and Steve saw that too. And then you would see that, and you would have to come in there and say, like, just at different times, not every time either. And then you would see it and you would say, who gave you this? Who? Tell me who gave it to you. And so you were trying to make us tell on the person. So that was if we told, then we got in a lot of trouble. But if we didn't tell, then it was a different kind of trouble though, because then we weren't snitching. You wanted to see if we would snitch, and you did everything like like grabbing us by the collar, and who gave you this, so it was kind of like, I don't know, it just felt like it was not all the time though, because you were the most like dramatic and loud. Like everybody's like, oh shit, she's here, like hide your stuff, we could hear, like we was all so scared of you. Like you was like, get out of here and line up. And you would make us go do exercises, and like and I was like 7, 8, me and Steve, and then there was a few other ones. Like it was all just like so scared, would not do, we just listened to whatever you said, and you're like, get down here and do the like army stuff, setups, crunches, all that kind of stuff. Every single day that you were there, we had to do that kind of stuff. And then when you wasn't there, like you had to leave and go do missions and stuff. And so then we were just left in the cell by our, like the guys there, they didn't care. Like Arkeem, he didn't even, they didn't check on us if you wasn't there. So you kind of mothered in a way, but in a harsh way. But you always made sure, like, why don't they have any water? Why haven't they eaten yet? But it was like that kind of a thing, you would make sure at least, why haven't they been out for a break yet? Why haven't they had a bathroom? Or why is their cell so messy? Why are, you'd always you're just high emotion like that. And so you kept them all, the guys, they didn't, when you were there, then they were like, shit, she's coming this week or whatever, or she'll be here on Tuesday, because you came in and out. Like you didn't live, I don't know what base you lived on, because you were from some other place. So you were just like sent there on certain times, but it was a surprise visit to the kids too, because we would have hid our things, but we didn't have anything in the cell, you know, and you would spot anything new in there, and then you would take it. But that's just part of your thing too, that I guess you were just trying to see if we would break, if our mind would break, you know. And then I think it's part of the traumatizing too for
Well,
each of us.
they did all that to me too, but man,
yeah, to all of us.
I hope I wasn't. I don't know. I don't have that memory of being what you just said, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get my memories. I don't know.
But somebody else does,
resonate?
though. Somebody else does, and I just heard about this myself. You know, we were talking about this individual earlier, and they have distinct memories of that. Exactly like the way you're describing, in a sense. But isn't it like you go through it as a child, and then you go through it and you're doing to the children what was done, and then you move. I mean, it's just what we have to go through. And it's
because then after I left that place, like when I was like 14 years old, you know, then they sent me to another base, and I think it's still active. I don't know, but I'm just like you, but little bit different in my own way. But I act and treat the kids just like you treated us, in that way, like a drill sergeant person, you know. So I think a lot of that was teaching how to, because I think Steve kind of is like that too with the other kids, you know. If he's a teacher someplace, then he's going to be. So we're all kind of like that. So how you taught us was effective in that way. It wasn't and you were taught a different way though by, I don't know who was your teacher.
Electric shocked. I was shocked with electricity by, I was telling Chad earlier, I have this reoccurring memory. I even wrote it down. Like, I think it's about a year and a half ago. I was like, what the hell when did that happen? Right? I was maybe 12, 13, and they had me in a like a doctor's office. Like I was the doctor's office's maid or something. And it was a couple, a male and female. And the only thing that I remember as I woke up, that he would put me in this white gurney, and he would run water, and then he would run electric currents on me. And another memory that I had a year and a half ago as well is that it's a king and queen, and they took me as their consort or sex toy or whatever. I was young too. I was like maybe 15, and I was supposed to like put on her makeup and, you know, do all kinds of stuff, like wash her brushes, take care of her latrine or whatever. But then at night I had to sleep with them, and it was horrible. I woke up crying too. And I also have a memory of being in the seven heavens, and it was very religious place. It was kind of like a castle setting again, but it was very old. Like it was it had some ruins from cave form, but at the same time, and it was like a terracotta color. And I would go in, and there was a huge place where this preacher was preaching for the families. And then there was another, you go up, there's, like I said, there's seven, this is the seventh heaven. You go to, I would go to another auditorium. There was a bunch of females, males there, dressed up for church. Obviously they were looking at a screen, and they were being taught how they had to eat an egg with milk. And this was underwater. So I'm trying to figure that one out. I'm like, what do you mean we had to drink egg with milk? You know, and the lady was like showing everybody how to do it. And I'm like, I got to get the F out of here. Somehow, I mind controlled the guy to open the door for me. And it was 7 doors as well, 7 doors to get out. When I finally got out, I had to go through a very small, it was a cave. You go up, it was like an altar in cave form, same color. And then I had to go into a very thin, like kind of like the old rollers where you wash your clothes, like in the 50s. Okay, I had to go through there, and somehow I made it without getting, you know, I just barely made it. And when I got up, I saw the guy right next to me. He was in bird form, like an avian. and he was the god or the king of that realm. And he just looked at me. He was dressed in orange, but he had the beak, and he was a bird, and he was white complected, black hair. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? And I woke up like, what?
Do you think that was Chad? That bird?
I
Because
don't
he's
know.
a bird, the bird being like the
I know that
vulture.
well, I don't know. He seemed very weird, different to me. He didn't seem familiar, but I know Chad with time traveling with me a few times, and then also he's making a bed for me and others in Siberia. I talked about that with James Rink, the Siberian Lakoya video, and he's making out of leaves, out of tree leaves, paja, it's called in Spanish. And he was making a bed for us. And then that's when I saw the beings that had the animals with the flowers coming out, and then the people that had actually they had the flowers and bamboo stuck on them as well. And he was part of them in that dream.
So I want to ask then about the dolphin program, and ask if this is what you recall from, because this is my memory of me and Steve, and then we were super soldiers, and we were taken out in the Gulf of Mexico area, and it was like in the nighttime, and we jumped out of the helicopter into the ocean, and we were training to call the dolphins to us or telepathically communicate with dolphins. This was just like training. So I don't know if that's a dolphin program or if it's called something else. But it was like, and I saw that James Rink was the helicopter, and it might not have been a helicopter, but this is what in my mind it looks like. He was the pilot, and then he flew off and dropped after we jumped out. And then another time, then we just did these drills. So then the next time, then it would be just different team members. And we were practicing calling the dolphins to us and communicating. Then the dolphins, we would hang on to the dolphins, and then we were able to swim underwater into stargates and go through those stargates to other realities. And what I picked up was that we were searching for lost relics, is what I had discovered, like, because we was going through to different bases and like searching the base for whatever we had to find. Each time it was a different thing, so we were searching for just that item and knew where it was located, and went right there and got it, and then would return back through the Stargate. So I wondered if you recall. That sounds familiar.
Oh yeah. So we would have to search for relics for cities, underground cities. The memories that I have, I talked about them also on the other channel, Unchained Hearts with Jemin Vasquez and Sylvia Vasquez. And my memory, one of my first memories was being in a dome. And it was a metallic dome, and I was swimming with the other kids. I was swimming with they were like the black dolphins, and they had also how do you say, not the shamu, I don't want to even say that
the
word.
orca whales.
Yeah, the whales. And then I was swimming with dolphins, and at first I was like scared because they just threw me in there, the adults. I was a kid, and I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here, So then I just started petting the whales and talking to them telepathically, and they were like so nice to me. And then that swimming pool led to Hawaii, and it was also connected to the Gulf of Mexico. And they had me teaching the other kids, we would put our hands together and how to telepathically speak to each other, and then the dolphins that way. My name there, I was also a dolphin. I was made into a dolphin called Myra. Her name was Myra. And I was in a submarine ship. We had to also, the dolphins would tell me about the tectonic plates, how they were shifting, and how they had to help to keep Mother Earth stabilized. And also we had to look for different cities under ruin, such as Cuba. you know, there's a city under there.
Mhm.
Which is funny because right now I'm being transported to, when I got married, I went to Cancun, Chichen Itza.
Mhm.
We went to go see those pyramids there, and they're connected to those pyramids as well,
Mhm.
for some reason.
Underneath it, like
Yeah.
how the sarcophagus and stuff is under
Yes.
those pyramids.
Yeah, and that's how we taught. That's okay. So there's different ways of healing yourself. There's a way of talking to your body, loving your body, nurturing it, but there's another way that you can do instantaneously at night is when you go into sleep, you go into your sarcophagus, you go in and you heal yourself that way, or you can go onto your ship and heal yourself that way, but you call upon the pyramids. The Giza pyramids are actually supposed to be here to help us heal. That is where the med beds come from.
Mm.
Whether we're going to be in the med beds, I don't know, because we use them already, you know, in the program. But as far as for the public, I don't know. To me, that thing is just like for people that have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, yeah.
So what do you do with the sarcophagus then to heal? What do you say to do that?
You
I'm gonna
just
start
go
doing
in, you just go inside it, and then the sarcophagus itself like can see what's wrong with you and it fixes it, or you can tell it telepathically, hey, I need this, I need that. It's kind of like we learned how to do that because they had us underwater, right? They had us under the black goo, the green goo. They had us tied with octopuses in our back. And I've talked about it before where I was getting the shots from my back before the surgeries. And the doctor said, he didn't think I heard him. He said, do you see that black thing swirling around her back? And then that's when I had an interview with Osiris Ra. I was telling Chad that he said, oh, wow, you look just like Gomorrah's sister. And yes, you look like half of an android, half human. And you do have a black octopus in your back. And I'm like, what? So I don't know if they took it out when I had my surgery or what, because they've taken out from S1 through L5 and then C2 through C6, and I have titanium there, and I still have a lot of back pain in the middle. My whole back is shattered. So I need more surgeries, but I don't know if they took out the black goo or what, or if they've taken out any of my implants that I saw in the MRI. Because when I asked the doctors, hey, I know that's an implant on my shoulder or my knee or my foot, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, they always say, I don't know what you're talking about. We're here for blah, 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 not that, you know. So the dolphins are the protectors of Earth. They're highly, they're just like us, man. They're very smart. And also the German shepherds. Like I have one, she was in my dream. She came to me with her puppies and stuff like that. And I rescued her, and now we're like this. And I know I have the wolf DNA. I know I have the
Yeah.
DNA.
Let's talk about the wolf shit, and because I'm a wolf too, you know, the wolf DNA. So just because of my heritage and stuff, but I've also seen that I guess we would have like a implant or something that would help us to shapeshift into that, or or is that innate, or how do they do that?
Some of us don't need an implant. Because it's in our DNA. And I was telling Chad about, he just reminded me, oh my gosh, the last full moon was hell. For 3 days, it was hell. I didn't sleep. Things happened around me that I always wear red when the full moon comes. I wear red to sleep, wear blouse, red dress, red everything, you know? And it's kind of like, I was telling Chad, we were talking the other day about Little Red Riding Hood. What is Little Red Riding Hood really? Who ate the wolf? She did. She ate the wolf. The wolf didn't eat her grandma. She was a
She
wolf.
ate the wolf.
Yeah, she was a wolf. The Little Red Riding Hood, that's why her mom would put the red on her. Like, I have one here.
She was the wolf. Oh, she could shapeshift.
Yeah, because she had wolf DNA. So what I do is you just could do this to take care, like on a full moon, you could, you know, use a red cloak at home, or wear a red hoodie, because you never know when you can turn into that red wolf, especially on the beginning of the full moon, right? I feel it. I'm like, I tell my kids today a full moon because I feel it coming.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes when I get really angry too, then I feel like I'm fisting to whoop out, you know, like that, but I don't think that would be a good one. It's not going to be good. I really would like to sometimes, you know, and that would feel good to be able to, but you know, like, I
just want to be outside all the time, you know, at night when the full moon's like, I don't want to be inside and I just want to eat meat. That's it. I just want my blood. Like I said, I'm also vampire. When I was a kid, the programming was, you know, to watch black and white TV, you know, Dracula. I would sleep like this with my hands over. And then I'd make sure that, you know, there was a place that they could bite me, which is very wrong. I do not recommend it to anybody. But vampires don't really have to bite here. They like to bite here too. They do come out. Because I have to sometimes wear the dark glasses. I try not to, but sometimes it's really hard. And then my favorite days are the gloomy days when there's no sun. The vampires come out. Vampires come out. It's a lie that they don't come out during the day. Yes, they do.
When it's not
and they wear cover up. They wear a special white cover up to help them. I know because I met a lady when I used to clean houses when I was younger. There was this older lady, like in her 80s, and I would clean her house. And one day she's like, "Hey," and you know, wash the dishes and everything. She says, "Why don't you clean for me on the bottom here, the cabinet under her bedroom, you know, the bathroom sink?" And I'm like, "Okay." She had a bunch of creams, and I asked her, "What are these for?" She says, "Oh, they're for my hands and for my face." She was so white. She says, "Oh, it helps me to go out to the sun." And I'm like, "Ooh, this girl's a vampire."
He knew.
Yeah, I knew. I was like,
yeah. When I'm jumping on my trampoline, I have a mini trampoline outside, and I'll see myself as the wolf, like a giant wolf though. And I am usually doing like battling somebody or spinning like a tornado, or I'll just take off running. Like I'll jump against like the wall. There's like a storage container. So I'll jump against that and then take off running down the street. And I just see myself running really fast. So I do that a lot.
Yeah, you know, the trampolines are used to bring in altars. Like when they killed Max Spiers, Miles Johnson said that they revived him again. And that's why he was like, he looked like if he was all drugged up. They had him jumping on a trampoline so that he can get back, you know, whatever they wanted to do to him, you know, they would do and bring in other altars and things like that. They were trying to rob him of his soul. That's why they had a cut here. They were trying to cut his pineal gland out and get his soul.
Wow.
Yeah. They were jealous.
Well, like when a lot of my visions do come when I'm jumping on the trampoline, you know. So yeah, like a lot of the darker things, but it all seems to just play out in my head. But a lot of stuff I just visualize like spinning like tornadoes. I just love to stand in the middle of tornadoes, and not real tornadoes, but in my mind, you know. And I'll just stand there and it's just going really fast, and it's like the most relaxing place to be is when it's like the faster it's going, and then I just feel comfort. Like
yes,
like
okay, all right. I'm glad you said that because Wizard of Oz, and I was telling Chad about this movie with Richard Gere, sorry, not Greer, the other guy, but Richard Gere, the fine guy. All right, so he was with Wizard of Oz. They have a tornado. Okay, the tornadoes are used for time travel.
Oh, okay.
And they're used to bring in your other altars, like Alice in Wonderland also. So I was watching this movie the other day and I said, I don't want to watch any more movies, but I'm like, oh, fine. I hadn't watched TV, you know, for 4 days because I usually like my Star Trek and my Halo and, you know, all that stuff. So anyway, I said, okay, fine. I'll watch something funny. And it was called Dr. T and the Women. So long story short, at the end, he gets into a crash, and he has a vehicle that has a top down. It wouldn't work, you know, the top up wouldn't work. And he's stuck in this loop of, it goes on. I was like, how long? It was about a minute. I was looking at the screen. I'm like, I can't look at the screen. My goodness. I felt like I was being transported. So anyway, he wakes up supposedly in Mexico. And there's these little girls asking for his help. Doctor, come over here. You know, this person is having a baby. Well, they have a live birth, and that is actually a side thing that they Hollywood came up with, a live birth that actually a natural, live birth with the baby's coming from where, and then the doctor does something and the baby cries. Okay, so that baby is not a real baby and it's not a real live birth, but they have made it to be that way. They have they made it, I don't know with what, they probably have a remote control when the baby's coming out, the head's coming out of the mom, but it's crazy. He was transported over there, and I just, for even right now, I'm having a hard time with it because I can't look at stuff like that, because Disney and Pixar and all that, Marvel, they want to use your luge as your luge, your energy to transport you to whatever they want, whatever projects they want.
Yeah.
And we have the drones on top of us here, and the lidars, they're always watching us, always watching us. If you even close your window, they're still watching you.
Yeah, for the through the implants and stuff too, right? Like that.
Yes, and it's part of the telehealth, and I always talk about the G Mafia, right? Google, they have Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, IBM, Amazon, and it's like what it is with the smart cities, and even you don't even have to have a smart city building, but the drones come over you and say, oh, well, what do you need with help now? Or you're sick, okay. They beam down the light, they check you out. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and through Amazon send you the medication. And if you do have a smart city, the refrigerator, oh, you need eggs, and then boom, the refrigerator orders it through Amazon, and things like that. So that's part of telehealth, and it's part of the China credit score. And the drones are already here. They've been here for a long time. Like I said, I saw this girl when we were at a vegan night at farmers market, and the young girl said, yeah, I just graduated the University of Arizona, and my father is in the Navy. I don't know why she started telling me this. She says he's in charge of the drones, but I can't say too much about it. And they also have a pill that's $2 million to cure spinal bifida and all the where the kids are born with you can't move, the muscles are gone, forget what it's called, but she says, yeah, I want to help the kids. And I said, the drones, you can't see them, but they're cloaked with technology, right? She goes, yeah, but I can't talk about it anymore. Okay. And I'm like, okay. She was like kind of paranoid, but she's the one who started talking about the drones because there was a drone that flew by us. And I'm like, oh, they have drones here too, huh?
So the tornadoes, then they're a symbol for
to bring in altars.
To bring in altars.
And also to take you through the wormholes and have you go get things for them and bring them back, relics or whatever. Yeah.
So I probably alter out then when I'm seeing that. Do you think so?
Yes.
Like, just
you feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I feel like an adrenaline rush, like like that. And
yeah, and then you're like, where am I? Like, because after that scene, I was like, what the fuck just happened? Where am I? Like, I'm watching this movie, but now I'm somewhere else. Like, they took me to Mexico in this movie. And in Wizard of Oz, they take you wherever they want. It doesn't have to be the scene in the movie. It could be whatever they program in your, digital twin with the have a remote control.
Yeah. Because a lot of times I'm just shown that I'm out in the street, either being like an avatar fighting, like not fighting somebody. I'm just doing the energy exercises, like pulling the earth up and then like pushing the air out and then bringing fire. I'm just doing all kinds of the elemental things like that. So I just see that, or I'm running really fast, as a wolf, but then I'll have visions of lots of visions of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's in it, but it's like a whole thing, like all different stuff too. So I think that is that part altering out, and doing those, because it comes like a movie, like that. I didn't know that I was altering out. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's really.
Either your mom will tell you or you will go ahead and feel it. And then like the other day when Katana was here, I'm like, fuck, she's here. What the hell is she doing here? God dang it. It's like And that's because I was reminded to stand my ground. Like, not everything that people tell you, you cannot, I only believe maybe half of what I hear about the super soldiers, because I mean, I'm one, people don't have to believe me, but those are my memories. But
Yeah.
some people, like I told you in the private message, that they like to make things up too. So you just got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, because everybody has their own memories, and then sometimes I think that we're given like a holographic, those glasses, and then they're shown this another thing too. We're all shown kind of like a virtual reality, you
Yes,
know.
and they're
So that.
watching us too, because about a month ago I woke up from a dream where I was in a lab with the spider beings, and oh, I told Chad about the dream that I had. Oh my gosh, yeah. So anyway, there's these 3 scientists that are, some of them wear glasses, some of them are half bald. They're wearing the white lab coat and they're on the screen, and I'm on the other side in the room, you know, being checked out. And I can see them through the screen. I'm like, what the hell are these doctors doing here? And I wake up like they're watching you, like they watch us. And it's just a thin veil.
So
That's
do
all
you
it is.
remember any of the jump rooms? Any jump rooms going to like Mars or anything? Do you remember going, like being transported, like going into the jump room, and then what happens when you go in?
Yeah, okay, so there's one that I have from Sepulveda Boulevard. That's a jump room right there. And that was in California. And then that room goes, okay, because there's also booths where you take pictures. That's also one. So and then I've been in the Starbucks where I'm transported through the mirror, because the mirror is like a double mirror, and it goes through underground base to Mars. And I do remember the room. It was like kind of like inside of a building, but at the side it had like a side of a cave. And then we go in through, we're all in our uniforms, and then we go in through that it is like Dulce base, where it has the elevators. Okay. So then, and then we're just taken into our ships or whatever. And, or if we don't need the ship, we could just use whatever gear we have. We can, you know, there's many pictures that I've taken. Here in Arizona, they have this balloon that can go 80,000 miles from Earth up, and they're just hanging out there. So we can go 80,000 miles in a balloon thing, or just with our suits. Now, if you want to go beyond 80,000 miles, then you can get on a ship.
Yeah. So I wonder if you've seen gorillas before, and like the gorillas, they was like in a lab. This is what I was helping my friend. He was like being being like cybernetics with his legs. The gorillas were pulling his limbs apart, like off, and then they were looking at me because I was like looking through a glass, you know, like the plexiglass window thing. And then I was like, no, you know, and they was like looking at me like ripping off his leg. And then they put on a cybernetic leg, and then they ripped off his head, his arms, and then they even did something with his head too. And then they put him like on a thing, you know, like to wheel him out. And then so they were shipping all these super soldiers to Mars on a jump gate, or jump whatever. They just were shipping them to Mars for like 20 years. And then when he got back, then he was like on a boat, and he really did this. He was like in Antarctica, and there was he had like been infected by an insectoid when he got back, so he was hearing like voices and stuff in his head. That's my mom and dad's clock. That's the birds.
I heard it. I'm like, oh.
and and so anyway, he was asking me for help to try to figure out what that was, because he just kept on writing stuff or whatever, like symbols. So he was just trying to figure out what that was. But I saw that he was shipped to Mars for like that 20-year term, and then just came back and had been infected. So I didn't know.
I wonder if he was shipped to Mars, because I was shipped to Venus, and I was given a metallic arm, but I was a boy, and it was through Project Ibis, and that was Venus. And then the beings would turn. They had like instead of muscles, it was like rocks, and they told me and the other kids, it's like, if you don't make it, if you're still out here by when the sun goes down, we're gonna eat you. So every time the sun is coming down, I have this paranoia, you know. So it's like, That's the worst time for me of the day when the sun is coming down. But as far as gorillas, I have heard of them, but I have seen the monkeys though.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the monkeys in
Like,
my astral many times.
mm-hmm.
And I can
Yeah.
communicate with Sasquatch too. I think all of us can.
These were like the negative, the really fierce, like a negative reptilian would be or something,
Yeah,
you know,
they
like they were
remind
the
me.
kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, they remind me of the ones that were like in Halo, part of the reptilians that help the reptilians. There are some that are very, very large
So do
gorilla.
you remember ever like being as a super soldier and then like we're scaling down, like rappelling down into like a cavern? And then so when we're down in this cavern, then we're on a mission to like rescue all these children that are in this cavern. And it's an open cavern with the light thing. You can see kind of the light up there, but all on the whole wall is the whole cages of kids, you know,
Yes.
all the whole wall, all the way up to the ceiling. So we gotta go in there, but then once we get down in there, then there's like these little crawling insects all over the place, like crawling, trying to attack us. So the team has to get all those, you know. So, and then I would just focus on going straight into the area where the kids are and opening up all the cages. And then there's like a
Oh God.
ship or something that
Yes.
comes down, and the ship is like we put them on like this is like a lift or something, like we just give them like all these kids because we're trying to hurry up, and then that they're just being taken up or something to be healed, but I'm just trying to grab all these kids out of the cages, like because it's like a plank, it's like levels, you know, floors
Yes. Yeah.
all the way up to the whole ceiling,
Well,
and they're
remember
all
they
full.
have them there also in the Dulce base. It's not just adults, and they have them in Antarctica, they have them in Mars, they have them in
Mhm.
China. So
Mhm.
it's here in the United States. It's not just over there, guys. So
Yeah, so I don't even know where that was, but
yeah,
it's
and
just
then
a
the
memory.
insects that I've seen in the astro are the locusts, the big ass
Oh.
one. Yeah,
Mm.
and then they even use crickets. And then I've
Mm.
also seen the praying mantis, I've seen the spiders. Um, they're pretty much, oh gosh, and then the roaches, those are the worst.
Yeah. And
So,
here's another one too of being like at some place. I never know where the place is. It's just I'm there, so I don't know what is. So it's like in a looks like a garage, and you know the kind that's out and separate from like gravel ground or something like that. And so then there's a line of women, and then there's the whole medical room and just the medical tables, you know. So I'm laying down on a medical table, and then there's a few more at a time. There's old, not like nurses, the nurses outfit that's the old timey kind with, you know, the long dress and stuff. And then the men, they look all German. It seems like a German place. And and then they have me strapped down, but I'm trying to resist, like I'm real strong, like trying to resist their shot or whatever they're doing to try to paralyze me. And then I guess they're taking our eggs or implanting, you know, in that place. So that's what they're doing with all the women. They're either taking eggs or putting, maybe it's a project surrogate or
yeah,
something.
and they put in our bellies. I know because one of my family members was there with me too. And what they do is they paint your stomach blue
Mm.
on this incident. And then I had another flashback where I am shown the blue babies that are coming in and they're painted blue. And I think those
I
are the
just,
negative, or the ones that are, the O negative comes from the Nephilim bloodline and also the other aliens, which we call, some of them are the Draco, but for sure the Nephilim beings that are in Saturn and that are with Aleister Crowley and with Barbara Bush and with the god Nike. I mean, it's all related. But yes, there are warehouses where they have young women and they're taking their ovaries, and some of them are pregnant, and when they're pregnant, they paint them blue and the baby comes out blue. Yes,
huh,
I have seen it.
huh, wow.
I don't want to cry because I'm one of them.
The blue babies. You just been so, okay. So, I'll
Ah,
just go
it's
into a
gonna be
different
okay.
one.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Um, I don't remember the blue baby, but like I resonate with that. So I think
The
that's
hybrids, Mama.
what.
The blue ones are the hybrids.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So do you remember ever being transported on a ship then, and then it's like a hybridization program ship, and then there's like a whole wall of the babies in like cubbies, and they're just like layer like cubbies, you know,
Yes, and then they
get a hold
okay,
of them.
so this is a flashback that I had. I'm glad you brought that up because I was trying to figure out what the hell is this. When we're a little older, we're maybe like 6 years old, we're still in the little cubbies and they're actually like locker rooms. And I was telling Chad this, and they're blue, and we're like stuck in a mountain somehow. And when we go in,
Okay.
we have little beds and everything, and we go in through the little window, and they're stacked up.
Yeah.
That's a memory that I've been wanting to talk about. I told
Well,
Chad everything, but I don't know if I recorded or not.
I just
I'm
heard
done.
that. You remember that movie, Escape to Witch Mountain? Do you remember that movie?
Big time. Yeah.
I just thought of that when you said that.
I don't remember watching it. What is it about?
Those
Well,
kids
big
are
time.
like little aliens, you know? And then I guess that mountain is,
Which
will you talk about it? Chad, tell us about it, because I kind of forgot.
Yeah, it was, what was it? Escape from Witch Mountain, or what was it called again?
Escape
Escape
to
to
Witch.
Witch Mountain, yeah. And I just remember they were like little Pleiadian kids or something with, telekinesis or something and different special powers, because they were trying to escape and they were being chased. And so it was constantly them using their abilities to throw off the enemy and then trying to get back to their ship. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I was a child then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's
I remember it well.
the two brother and sister, and they're
Yeah.
telepathic. You know, they're twins, I think, and they can communicate, and then also move things like they can move objects, you know, with their mind and stuff. So they're trying to go find their grandpa, or uncle. I think it's their uncle, and so then they get kidnapped and taken to like a mansion place by like a Daddy Warbucks looking place, you know, kind of something like that. And I forgot what they're doing there. I think I don't know exactly what he's doing. I need to rewatch it. And then so
Yeah,
they're trying to get to the uncle.
I forgot all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're locked up in that castle like place, and then they escape out of that place though. Because they have to find their uncle, and he just is like a carefree spirit, and he's like Pleiadian person. And so at the end, I guess that they find that mountain or something, and then they go I think their RV floats up in the air, you know, like it's teleported or so, you know. So it's really a cute movie.
That's
Really is.
interesting. I'm still trying to figure out what Chad is to me. I know he's my warrior and he's my guardian, according to my memories from being the high priestess of the House of Orange from Gibraltar, the King's Men. And I just, you know how I got this memory is just I was just channeling it. And then when Jessica, Morocco, and Iris told me about their dreams, they told me, yes, that I was a high priestess. Well, they didn't know what to call me, but I channeled the high priestess through reading my House of Night 12 books. And I'm like, holy F, because I know how to do things. We know how to do things with our hands, earth, water, spirit, air, what is it, fire. We have those telekinesis powers that we have them, but it's just with these programs, right? With the torture and all that. They took me out for ESL from the time that I was, I was in Head Start when I was 3, but I had to be in ESL from the time that I was 3 years old all the way to when I was a sophomore in high school. And then I went through AP English, AP, my junior, senior year, they had me in academic decathlon. I was, one out of how many are there? There was 7 of us in each school that we would go and, do these academic decathlon wars and speak and all that. But they didn't want us to remember that we have those powers. But so anyway, Jessica said, yeah, you were I see that you were in a castle, you were in a kind of like a round table, kind of like Camelot thing, and you had a high like a maroon dress, long all the way up to here, and your hair was up, and they put a bag over you, they took you for your abilities. And even Iris confirmed that she drew the dress and everything. So it's really interesting. I found out that because Chad and I are so freaking connected. He was like my brother. Like, I cannot believe how, and Chad, you've helped me so much. He sent me things to get better, you know, like vitamins, and just I've learned so much from him and Dr. Lodi, and he'll say, okay, this time we're gonna do MSM, we're gonna do the vitamin C, and this time we're gonna do this and that, and he's helped me to heal, and I believe my body's healing me, because my cells, I speak to it. We have to declutter and get rid of these programs. And how do we get rid of them? By getting our memories back and breaking the contracts. And not letting the people out there reel you in, because some of this stuff, like I said, some of this stuff, they'll just keep going on and on.
Yeah. And like you said, we signed contracts, but we were lied to. That's what the people are saying. We were lied to. We were, so.
Yeah.
We agreed to it, but we were lied to.
Yeah, I went into I wrote down about a year and a half ago, I went to sleep saying, okay, no more contracts with religion. Fuck this. I don't believe in no religion, nothing. Because I've been on the other side. I've died. I know how it is on the other side. You have a chance to be free. And it has nothing to do with the Bible here, nothing at all.
Right.
And so there's this lady there, a white lady in my dream, and she says, okay, so you don't want to have the contract with religion. She goes, okay, well, write it in red. And I wrote it in red. I do not consent to being tied to any religious activity, and I let go of presenting my children when they were kids. I break that too, because I was wrong doing that. I was wrong, presenting them to Zeus, which is, from Jupiter. My first name is Jesus. It's Jesus Veronica. My grandfather's is Jesus. My grandma's last name is Casesus. Zeus comes from Jupiter. So I don't want any ties to do with that. And so I can go on and on. But anyway, it was in red. And I just ran into it because, Chad and I are talking about the dreams and stuff. And I'm like, holy F, I'm glad I cut that contract. And I'm cutting cords with everything, because I want to free myself before I go here. I don't want to come back to these programs,
Yeah. Yeah, because I drew like a picture of the mind, and and then all the rooms that it would be, like all the altars and stuff, and how to access all the altars, like for ourselves, like I just kind of drew what I thought it would look like and so how do we know that we've healed or healed all those altars or aspects? How do you know? Or is it just the ones that are most traumatic that you're trying to heal,
I would say going down through anytime you get a thought form, say, okay, that is not my thought form, or you're being reminded of the past, because they want to keep you down in low vibration. Just say, I cut cords with that. No, I do not consent. Return to sender, bitch. That's not my thought form. And then write it down. Like, if you have time, write down, I break contracts, known and unknown, in this reality. Any copies, any mirrors, any oaths, any blood oaths, with or without my consent, I break it now. It is done, it is done, it is done. And write down your name and write down the time and date. It is done. And as above, so below. I could keep going on. Abracadabra, as I speak, I create. You believe it with all your heart that you broke that contract. And don't let them in your dreams. Don't let them get you back. Hey, come here. You forgot something. Nope, I'm not going over there. I'm fine right here.
Yeah.
Right? We out.
So what do you do when everybody's talking about one thing or certain things? Like everybody's talking about Montauk or super soldiers, and then they're like, I see you, I remember you, can you help me with this? Because people ask for our help too,
I help them to cut contracts. That's what I do. Is it's up to you. And I even have cut contracts with JP in his presence with other people, and it does feel like it's released. It's like it's off your shoulders. And then just if they want to keep reeling you in, then you're just going to have to say, I can't help you anymore. You're on your own, because I've helped you enough. And I don't want you stealing my energy, because you're an energy vampire. And that's it. Cruz, like they say, just block them or say, I can't help you. Strong boundaries, because they will, Christy. keep reeling you in. If it's not you, it's going to be someone else. And if that's not someone else, believe me, I've had to block so many people because they keep wanting more. This scenario, that scenario. What about that scenario? It's a AI. It's kind of like an AI thought form that keeps going and going and going, growing and, adding shit that's half of the time's not even there. So.
Yeah, so it's everybody though. Ask like they said, can you help me recover memories, or can you help me with this, or
Well, there has
can
to
you
be
do
an
a card
energy
reading?
exchange. There has to be. I charge an hour
Yeah,
rate.
I charge.
So make sure you charge and then cleanse yourself after and break contracts with them.
Okay.
What you can do, you can help them and then help them as much as you can for that 1 hour fee or whatever, and then that's it. Don't even give them your number, because they're going to be, hey, I had a dream today and guess what? Oh, tomorrow, can you call me please? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Because they're so scared, or they're not in their power to break contracts themselves, that they need someone else. So only help them, like for that hour or whatever you sign up for, and that's it. They have to learn their own, mama, just the way I did, just the way you
because
did.
they keep coming back, like they keep asking after you've helped them, then if you don't charge a fee, then they overstep the boundary,
Yeah, that's
like
what was
then
happening to me. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was charging 33. This was 4 years ago. And one of my friends, Lisa, called me up and she's like, you better charge more, because then people are taking advantage of you. And I did. I had to up the scale. And now, because they know me, it's like they'll come to me one time and that's it, because they have to learn. It's like you have to be a drill sergeant too. Have compassion, yes, have compassion and love for them, but you can't be babysitting them all day, every day.
Yeah, right.
That's why I tell you guys, and too, to get your log, get your journal and write down your dreams every day. I have like 10 of them, thick ones.
Your own stuff, instead of following along blindly with other things that come at you.
Yeah.
Direct your mind to something that you want to do.
Yeah, physically too. Go out for walks, or you like to do I need to get a trampoline when I'm better. I want to start running when I get better. I love the gym. I miss the gym. So you can do physical things. You could do breathing exercises. You can also clear out with the hue, the one I was playing earlier in that video that I made about that hologram. HU. You can play that one. And I played it yesterday for a whole hour because I was worried about something, and then I just let it play, and then something good happened that I was, worried, and yeah. So just let go. Sometimes you just have to let go, but do something. Our lymphatic system needs to move in order to heal, and it also heals our brain, our memories, and things like that. And it is okay to block them, Christy. It's okay to help them, but it's okay to put boundaries, like you said, strong ones.
Yeah, and then even with the alien stuff, to set to cancel the contracts too.
Yes, cancel the contracts with them too, and also the government, because they're the #1 dealers here. Vanguard, Department of Defense, CIA, Umbrella, the Draco, Orion Wars, Pleiadian Wars, the Dragon Wars that we had. Yeah, all that. But after yeah, I know. So real quick, so like say you're tossing and turning and you had a dream and you're like, oh shoot, I didn't like that. Even when you're mumbling or in your brain say, I cut contracts, blood oaths, known and unknown, in this reality I do not consent, and then you can go to another dream. You know what I'm saying? Or get up and write it down and cut contracts that way with every little thought form. If it's not your thought form, say I return to sender with consciousness attached, or it's not mine. I don't want to go there, and you don't have to. You don't have to.
Yeah. Okay. I'll start doing this to take back my power, so I'm not so I just would rather be in a more positive mood, than this all the time. So a fly is flying around my face.
You can take a break too. You can I had to take a break because I got very sick, and everything that I went through, and you just have to take care of your energy and your energy field and clear it with Palo Santo, with Copal, 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 with the rain, the rain stick. This one's, you can, burn that. But you gotta just, because these are like kids, like babies, like mama, but please, I know but please, it's like, no, now you have your wings, now you get to fly. And then they, you don't want them to be blaming you for crap either. So, can only help them so much.
Yeah. Because
Like
there's
one
a lot.
person, like I won't say the name, but Chad did a regression for this person, and then this person said, well, you were the one that told me this and this and that, and it's not true. It's like, what?
Yeah, it is when people when they don't do their own work and stuff, and then they ask you what you see for them, and then you tell them what you see, but like they need to look for themselves and not believe what I tell them, because what if I'm being programmed to say that, like I'm seeing what they're in their field, but what if it's a program, so the best thing you can do is just think for yourself, really.
Exactly. So I have many examples when people have come to me. I've gone to their house, I've cleared their house, I've cleared their mind, I've helped them to see the loved ones that have died, and I've had messages for them. With this particular woman, I told her there's something there in the event. And I said, I need to open it up to see what it is. And it was meth. So the boyfriend was doing meth. Okay. I told her, you need to cut ties with them. I cleared, like I said, I cleared the place. I changed her locks, everything. Well, a month and a half later, a month goes by and she goes with him and he beats her up and she has so many bruises on her. She ends up in the emergency room. And I said, I told you, once you come to me and I clear you, you are with your whole heart telling me you're not going to go back to this man and that you're not going to go back to the situation. Okay, you did an oath with me. All right, I'm done with this. I helped you, but then they go back.
Yep.
And it's on them. It's not on me.
Yeah.
And it's not on you. And it's not on Chad.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
No. And people are also cheating coming to you sometimes. They're trying to cheat. Like I noticed if I used a psychic or something, like if I called Ivan, it was a couple of years ago, and I would ask a couple questions, and then I realized I had a whole nother hour to go because I just I know there's certain things you're not supposed to be nosy about. You don't know for a reason, and you weren't meant to know at that time. And people would come to me when I did hypnosis and stuff and want me to be like the magic man or something, just take my smoking away. And I'm like, no, you got to heal, and you got to, we got to get rid of this energy and figure out, why it's there and stuff, and do it the holistic way and stuff like that. So people can't cheat in their lessons and get the answers like they think they can going through people and stuff. You got to be respectful and allow the information to come through as it comes through and not pull it out of you.
Right. Because, like we've gathered up our own knowledge through experiences and doing all this work on ourselves too. And like, we're not just gonna give it away and say, here, just do this. So, and then they don't learn and then they just depend on us. That's not our job to do that. We're not responsible for, we're responsible for ourselves and then protecting our own energy and raising our own vibration here. That's what we're supposed to do. So when people ask, but they keep on asking and asking, then it's like, it's so annoying, it is overwhelming and annoying that that's the thing that happens. I guess it happens to all of us because everybody says, yeah.
And we just have to learn ourselves to say no more. Like that's it. I can't help you anymore. And they, believe me, this person 4 times called me this, called me that online, and then 4 times said, I'm sorry, come back. I didn't mean it. No. No. 1, I can forgive. 2, maybe. The 3rd time, then I'm dumb. If I forgive you the 3rd time, you're gonna keep taking from me.
Yeah.
Get in my hair, silly pants. Are you kidding me? Let me get my shotgun.
Yeah.
But Christy, last time you were giving me readings, and I was not expecting it. I didn't even know that you had that ability or gift. I was just all of a sudden you were talking to me and telling me, but you were so accurate.
Yeah.
With a lot of the stuff, and I do want to confirm, like you said something horse, and I don't know about horse because if that's it, then I'm blocked. But I did have an experience a year ago. I was questioning because I looked up horse, and he's the falcon guy.
I'll be back. You guys talk. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Yeah, and I was getting a haircut, and this is about a year ago in a barber shop, and this guy walks in with a falcon on his hand that he just rescued. And it was cool. I remember looking at the falcon, and it looked at me, and I didn't, he's talking to all the other people and then left. And then that night when I went to go to sleep, I got a strong vision going from wake to sleep. I was awake and I closed my eyes, and I got this strong vision right away of a falcon, and it was bejeweled or jeweled. It had jewels on it, like around its forehead, a little jewel here and some jewels. But it was like a fifth dimensional falcon or something. It was just beautiful, high definition, I guess, or whatever. So there is a connection with the falcon, and I've always been trying to figure that out, what that is. And that would be the Horus connection, and if he is a falcon person.
It is, yeah. And it's just how your ability to hone in on stuff is like a direct like target. Like it's like you can focus, like laser focus on stuff, on things. And you can, I don't know, that's kind of how the birds, how a falcon is when he's flying. Because you said you like to imagine flying too when you were growing up and stuff, or you remember you could, or you thought you could, or whatever. So you were afraid to step by the edge because you thought you would fall or fly or something like that. So I think it's just I think it's like your, I think it's just like your soul memory of that or something. It seems like that's your main thing is a bird being, like if you're connected with Thoth and Hortus, all the bird beings. And, any of those that are, they're the main, like, they're like the gods though, of that time. But because it's kind of like half man in Egypt time of, like Hortus then. And then, like half man and half falcon head. And then, but there's also where you could shapeshift. Like I can see that had like a Native American lifetimes, because like in the back it looks like a Native American painting that you have of the hut, like a hut or something, of the Mississippian culture. How they built the huts with the straw or like that.
Yeah.
So I can see you being like a leader that was up on the pyramid, like with the staff again. So I think you have like a strong connection with holding a staff, like some kind of power in that staff, like a diamond or maybe a diamond or crystal or something, but you have like a hat thing on too that has like a point too. So it's kind of you look like Hortus there too. So I don't know if you help seed some of the Native American from the past like a seeder race. Like I think you might have been like a seeder of information to people in those times in the, like, how in Dolores Cannon book, how they have the seeders, where they come in and then they give they're
I
like
keep telling Veronica that we need to build a seed. We're going to be the seed. Everything else gets destroyed, but we need to come together because we'll be the seed that blooms, and everything else, but we need to have our little, I think in that way, the seeds. Yeah.
So you're like a teacher to those people, like seeding the knowledge to help them raise up to the next level,
Okay.
He's also a healer, Christy. He's a shaman.
I see you doing that, like doing with the rattle and like on the whole, like a Reiki master or something. Are you Reiki? Do you do Reiki?
No, I won't. But I know what you're talking about. I've done things like that. I have done similar things like that. Yeah.
And drumming. I hear a drum.
Psychic. Yeah. And I'd want to get into that because I'm very in tune to rhythm and music. So I think that is a modality, that would help me get into.
I see you also as a time when you know how the Hopi, how they're doing those dances and they have on the bird costume, so I can see you doing that too, like dancing.
Oh wow. I've had a tribe of Indians come up to me and pay me respect before in my meditation. They went from the chief to the warriors to the women. They just went around the big fire. Almost, I could see all their faces, and I thought it was unique. I just moved to an area, so that resonates. Okay, but the Hopi, That's down in
Yeah.
Arizona, and that's
In
they were
Hopi
the ones
and
with
the
the
Zuni.
clowns and yeah.
Yep. The Zuni, the Kachina, you know, but
I
they
was
do
just gonna say the Kachina, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have the Hopi and the Zuni. They have the like they have the little dolls that are the eagle. You know, they're dancing the eagle dancer, but they're like a Kachina doll, but they have the eagle wings, you know. Or any kind of tribe where they're dancing like that with the costumes and stuff. I think you would really like watching those, like the powwows and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, because you like the sound of the stomping, the drumming, the doom,
Oh
doom,
yeah.
doom, 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 you
Yes,
know,
yes, 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 yes,
like
yes,
that.
yes.
Like you're like, oh yeah, this, like you connects your heart right away, you know. So
I'll be out there dancing with them probably, but yes.
they would let you, I'm sure, you know. I don't think that they care, you know, as long as you know the dance and you're
Oh,
wearing
I'm
the cut.
respectful. No, I wouldn't, but I would
Yeah.
want to.
Maybe doing something like the Sundance festivals, or going to those, attending some of the powwows or the
Yeah, we're
anything like
planning on
that.
in Veronica, the Sundance Festival, maybe. So yeah, and I used to cater those, doing some of those sometimes. So be
Yeah,
part of in
I
Utah,
would.
right? Up in Park City, in
I
that
don't know
area.
where they're at, wherever they're at, any kind of
Yeah.
powwow or Sundance,
Oh, okay, those things.
you
Okay.
know, or anything that you feel like you want to just check out to see, you know, like
They
that would
have them
connect
here
you.
too.
We're
Yeah.
talking about two different Sundance festivals, but I know the one you're talking about then. Okay.
The Sundance, I think, is up in Lakota,
Okay.
like in and they have like where they're pinned. They have like the men, like they pin something to their chest, you know, like that. And then so it's like some kind of
Lakotas are the taller ones, right? Or are they the
I think
North
so.
Dakota? North Dakota, is that what you're talking about up in there? Okay.
Yeah, Lakota, Dakota, the tribes there, they do those, the Sundance. You can look. They have
I
those
will.
festivals.
I have
And
Blackfoot Indian in my body, in my heritage. So there's
okay.
Blackfoot there. Yeah.
I would claim
grandmother.
that then. Claim it then, as that's what you have, you know. So I mean, yeah, that's why you feel that then, you know. Say, well, my grandmother is Blackfoot, you know. So I mean,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
I know that I have some in the astral. I've been told that I have connections to the Lakota. I'm like still trying to figure that out. And my great grandmother, one of them was from India and the other one was from Dominican Republic. So I have my drums here, the little ones, but I've been wanting to get like the big drums, and they
Wouldn't
also
that be
have,
fun? Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
All of us sitting around and drumming.
Yeah, with the fire. With the fire.
There's a friend of mine, her name is Tanglefoot. She goes by Tanglefoot, and she's in Las Vegas, and she has these huge drumming sessions. But here they have them too in Tucson. And then during the Easter, when I was a police officer, I had to facilitate their dancing because it's a sacred thing, and it was in an area where they had to be protected and things like that. And here they have the yaki, they have the ono oram, they have all kinds, especially
the
for
yaki too. Go to one of the yaki things, because they have the deer, like they dance with, and they have like a deer head, and then they're dancing like around, like it's like a dance, like the deer kind of thing too. So they're it's the same kind of dancing, So, and they're real powerful. They're mystical.
Yes.
They're really mystical.
Yes.
You would think you would like that.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about anything else, or do we want to do another video?
Yeah, let's just do another one another time. Yeah, I like to keep it like this, and then that way we can refresh and then come back for more, another time.
Good. Thank you so much. Anything you want to say, Chad, before we go?
No, I'm good. Thank you, everyone. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be with you, Christy, and see you again.
Yeah. Thank you. Y'all both too. Thank you for having me on.
Christy. Yeah. I love you. And I love you
too.
Chad. And I'll upload the information as soon as the video goes up. Thank you guys for being here.
Okay. Good night, guys.
Good night.